Yo, thank you guys for tuning back into Don Talk Podcast. I really appreciate it, man. Like, whether you watch a little bit or you sharing it or whatever, I like this gesture. It does mean a lot to me. I feel like it does go a long way. And it's not something that's overlooked, I promise. Right? So again, thank you guys for tuning back in. Don Talk Podcast. This is the platform where, we talk about mental health, creativity, and personal development. That's the main thing I want to get from, or the main thing I want to give out, and I want people to receive from these podcasts, right? So today, man, I think well, actually, I'm gonna give y'all a little update, man. I've been feeling really good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm big on video games. So Spider-Man came out, Spider-Man 2. Shout out to everybody who been on the game. I know I've been on it, so that's been my focus for like the last week. And I'm almost done with it. And once I'm done, I'll be able to reallocate my time to the podcast and stuff. But I do create content for that. Like I stream, and then I gotta cut up clips and stuff and post them. And once I finish the game, that's like okay, like now I can post clips because I just didn't want to spoil anything for anybody. But I want to get back into posting clips and stuff. And that game is fun. Like I got my ass beat a lot, so it was like man, just kind of those moments are like, all right, let me share those with the world. That's really what I've been doing. Working. I work 4 days out of the week now, so it's like I also have to make the time. I have to push myself to say, okay, once I get back from work, I have to do something like podcast related, and it's hard though because sometimes I just be wanting to rest and relax, but it's hard to find that balance because you have to say, all right, well I have to relax. I want to relax. I need to relax, right? I need to decompress, but I also need to do something for the podcast, right? And yeah, that's the balance I'm kind of dealing with right now. But I'm always figure it out. I always do. But it's you got to take every day at a time. Like you can't rush and stuff like that. So you know, again, like I said in the last episode, give yourself more grace. It's okay. It's hard. We all trying to figure it out. We people, and that's what it is, right? So speaking of people, the topic that I wanted to touch on today, is definitely something that I feel like every topic that I bring up is something that I struggle with, right? But I feel like with this one I've definitely improved the most, or like one of the most, just because of my ability to say no now. Like, and no, you're not going to shame me for saying no, because what I want is always going to trump how someone else feels, right? Like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm always going to put myself first, because how I look at it, like, yeah, and they might have my best interests at hand, but sometimes, man, what I want to do is always going to come first because it's like, yeah, you're looking out for me now, but there might be moments where I am going through something and I do come to you and you aren't able to provide it, whatever. So I always like, I take care of myself because I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm the one who really got me like that. I know myself the best. So, yeah, man, we could talk about that in another episode, but yeah, what I'm getting at, today's topic is about, people pleasing, right? So people pleasing, really, man, it's just feeling that need to put others before yourself. So thinking about how will they? Well, I have to do it because I want them to like me, and I care about them, so I have to do it. But it's like yes and no. Like you don't have to do it. You're not obligated to. It would be nice if you did it, but no one's putting a gun to your head and telling you you have to do this, right? And that's something that I know I struggled with because if I didn't do something, there would be times where it was like, oh well, damn, they probably don't rock with me like that no more, or they don't look at me the same because I said no. But it's like, because I said no, you should have more respect for me because I'm able to put up those boundaries and say, okay, no, I don't want to do that. Like, or that makes me uncomfortable, and I'm able to voice my opinion and tell you how I feel as opposed to just doing what you want me to do. And this is something that's very prominent in like extrovert introvert relationships because I know I know extroverts and they're like, "Oh yeah, we should do this. We should go out." And I'm like, "Go out? Huh? Like you want me to go outside?" And that's already like I should be able to go out more, but it's still like, "Bro, I don't like being outside." It's fun at times, and there have been times where, like someone would hit me up to go out and I'm like, "All right, you know what? Like they've been asking for a while, like let me just do it." No, that's not okay. If I don't want to go out, I don't have to go out. And that's the bottom line. I don't care. Like you can't shame me into doing something, right? Like that's even that if you're doing that, then you're already a terrible person and you need work done on yourself. But yeah, man, like people pleasers are so caught up in, thinking about other people and not themselves and less about themselves, I'll say. Because, they're worried about how they'll be viewed and seen by the other person. But it's also like sometimes we can get into our heads and say, like I was saying, like, if someone's like, oh well, I don't think they'll like me if I don't do it, so it's like it's a lot, man, that goes into that. But yeah, I just had some things like some signs that you might be, people pleaser. So like, yeah, if you have a hard time saying no, right? If you feel guilty when you tell people no. Like I do this. I still struggle with this, but I feel like now I'm able to say no and it's not a big deal because I'm like, you asked me a question and I gave you an answer. If you don't like the answer, that's on you. That has nothing to do with me. So okay. But yeah, like always like if you feel like you're always telling people sorry. I know I do this a lot. Like I'll apologize to people. People are like, "Oh, stop saying sorry." I'm sorry. Like it's just like I can't help it, right? It's like it's so natural, but that's a condition that that's something that I've been conditioned to like understand. Like if you feel like you've made a mistake, you have to apologize, right? And someone else might not see it as a mistake, but if I see it as a mistake, I'm going to apologize for it. And again, that will trump anything else. Like someone can really be like, "Oh no, it's not your fault." I'm still going to apologize because I guess that's a part of that is like an accountability factor where I'm like, dang, well, yeah, I wasn't really at fault, but I got to take the blame for it because I was involved in the situation somehow, right? So it's things like that, right? But another big piece of, or another big sign of being a people pleaser is low self-esteem, right? And yeah, I didn't have the best self-esteem growing up. I know that it was definitely damaged when I was in my first and only relationship just because I had to change myself into a different person. So what I mean by that is like, the way I dressed, which wasn't bad because I like how I dress now. I took a lot of stuff from that and I'm able to piece my own outfits together. But, and I always didn't see myself as a handsome dude. Like when I would get haircuts and stuff, it was just like, well, I honestly didn't get a whole lot of haircuts. But I never really looked at myself and was like, damn, I'm handsome. Like, I can never say that to myself. Now I can, and I do it all the time. And I'm like, I don't care if I go out and I get curved by a girl. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm still handsome. Like, there's nothing you can't break me based off of like, my self esteem. My self esteem is pretty high right now, and it's not a cocky thing. It's just confidence. I'm more confident in myself, right? I trust myself a lot more. So I think that's a big thing. But going off of, poor self-esteem, that's an indicator or it can be a cause of, being a people pleaser. So if you have low self-esteem, that might be why you're a people pleaser. But it's like, you just have, or you lack self-confidence. So, you feel like you have to do things and get approval from other people in order to feel worthy. Or like, I think it could even be said like, if you're at work and you're like, okay, well I have to do this, so that they think I'm worth this job. Or like, I like trying to get approval from other people is like, that's where it can get messy, right? Because you never want to look for external gratification, and that's where you get wrapped up in it. Because if you focus so much on external gratification, or like, getting approval from others, when you don't get it, that's where your downfall is. Because you're like, damn, I didn't get it. So you're going to keep searching, and then you can get in your head and just kind of, like really spiral. So, that's a big thing. But also, like, what ties into poor self-esteem is like insecurity, right? So, if you don't trust yourself, if you don't think you look the best, or you work the best, or you're worth as much, you're gonna, like I was saying, you're gonna do those things to improve like how you're seen, the perception of yourself from other people. Like, you're gonna say, okay, I have to do this in order to make people think I'm worth what I am. But they don't determine your worth. You determine your worth. So that's a big part, right? And then, there's perfectionism. So, just saying everything has to be perfect, and nothing is ever going to be perfect. There will never be a perfect time to do anything. There's never a perfect time to start your podcast. There's never a perfect time to do anything, like to start a business. Like, there will never be a perfect time. You just have to do it. And you have to be okay with knowing that it's going to be flawed. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's flawed, then that's how you know that it's actually a good thing and it's working fine. So don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad at all. At all. You just got to start. You learn as you go. You make improvements. That's the journey. That really is the journey. I promise. I've been doing this podcast for 4 years now. And I just started adding video and like learning how to really speak, right? I think if I were to go back to my first episodes, you would hear the difference in how I speak versus now, where I'm able to enunciate clearer. I pause more to really get my thoughts out, so I'm not using filler words, and I really try to stop myself from doing those things. So yeah, you can see the difference. But the last item for like a cause of the last thing that's a cause of people pleasing is past experiences. So if people did you dirty in a certain like back then or whatever, that's going to affect how you look at people, how you treat people and stuff. And that's a big thing, how it shows up. So man, I think I'm trying to give an example, because I feel like a lot of stuff is like, if you're able to hear a story, like that's when you're able to really get to like understand something. So there's a situation of like niceness and people pleasing, right? And I feel that I'm a nice person, right? I don't mind doing stuff for people. Especially if I really care about you, I'm going to do it regardless. Like, I'm going to do it because I want to. And I'm like, oh yeah, they'll appreciate it. If they don't, damn, I might be less likely to do it again. So I think that's a people pleasing thing, because I know that I do that. I say, oh yeah, like I want to do this. And if it's not appreciated, then it's like, damn, well, I'm not gonna hold it over their head and be like, yeah, well, I did that. In my head, I'll say, damn, but I did that for them, and I thought that would, they would like that, but they didn't appreciate it as much as I thought they would. So for me, that's something that would hurt, but that's also where it's like, you don't want to get hung up on that, right? And then there's niceness versus people pleasing. People pleasing is doing things for the respect of others. Niceness is doing things because you're already a genuine person. I know I'm a genuine person. I will help people out now. I don't mind it, right? If they ask me for something, if I can do it, I got you. But if you try to, excuse my language, if you try to fuck me over, if you try to screw me, no, never again. And you just blew that relationship. So, yeah. But niceness it's a lot different because I'm choosing to do it because I want to, not because I feel like I have to. Versus people pleasing where you feel like you have to, or else something bad will happen, or that relationship or whatever it is won't be the same. So that's a big thing. I want y'all to really take that in and understand that. So yeah, but some of the tips. This is also like I was saying. I thought I said this before, but yeah, this won't be like a super long episode. I feel like I kind of give hour-long episodes, and sometimes it might be hard for people to stick around the whole time, but I think this is definitely going to be a shorter one, and I would do a part 2 or something like that, just to kind of keep people engaged, and it's easier to create more content and stuff. But yeah, I'll figure all that out. But yeah, so some of the tips for helping people pleasing are to establish boundaries, right? You want to be able to have boundaries in place so that when people ask you something, you're able to say, no, I don't want to do that, right? For me, it's going out. I don't like going out. I don't like going clubbing. I don't like going partying. When I do go out, I do like to go out. I do like to hang out with my friends in smaller group settings. Even if it's like all my friends from school, I can do that. I can tolerate that. But when it's a big room full of a whole bunch of people that I don't really know, yeah, no, that's not that's not fun for anybody, right? But yeah, I have those boundaries in place. So when my boy is like, "Hey, you wanna?" No, and I don't feel bad, because it's like, yeah, I get it. You want to go out. That's how you have fun. How I have fun is being at home with Hulu or my video games, or I'm just minding my business at home in peace, and I don't have to worry about anything going wrong. If someone calls me, it's like, yep, I'm in bed. I just got a haircut. Y'all see it. Y'all see the boy. He glowing. I'm glistening right now. Right. This is the happy Zen AK. I just mind my business. I stay at home. I drink my water, and I eat my food, and I stay out the way. It's so peaceful. It's so peaceful, man. But yeah, like I think people have different ways of expressing that. And however you have fun, if it doesn't line up with me, sorry. Sorry, not sorry, actually. Because you asked me to do something and I said no. There's nothing wrong with that. I can say no. I don't have to always go out. And if that bothers you, that's on you and not me. So, but also, something that you can do to help your people pleasing is you gotta start small. Like, you can't just jump right into it. It's hard to do something like, okay, well, I'm gonna say no every single time. Going cold turkey is not really realistic, right? And I know that for me, I definitely start small. Like, I say no a lot more often in terms of like going out, but there are some times where I'm like, man, you know what? Like, let's do it. Just to get out the house, right? But definitely starting small, or starting with boundaries are some of the best ways to really kind of get over your people pleasing phase, right? And to also add into that, like, if you start small and you set your boundaries, like, that's where you can also write down your goals and priorities. Like, what are you looking to get out of life? Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? All that stuff. So that's where you can really say, okay, these are the things I need to do. These are the things that either I want to do or someone else wants me to do. Do these two overlap? Is there something in the middle? Like, you can do a Venn diagram. It'd be like working on career, and then over here is like partying and relaxing. And then what are the benefits of the two? Relaxing, you can, gives you rest, so you're able to, recharge and then be able to work or be able to go out and have fun. A Venn diagram probably wasn't the best idea, but like, I think you guys understand the concept that I'm trying to go for, like, to compare, the things that would be helpful, right? So yeah, if you write down your goals and priorities, if the things that other people want you to do, if they don't line up, if they don't help you get to your priorities and your goals, you don't need to be doing them. And that's that. There's nothing else to say there. But yeah, man, and positive self-talk is another big thing too, because if you talk nicely to yourself, you'll help improve your self-esteem and your confidence. And then you're able to, like, look at yourself in a different light, and you won't feel the need to look for external gratification because it's all internal. You can tell yourself those things, and you can give yourself the love and the respect you deserve, and treat yourself the way you think you should be treated. And you don't need other people to do that for you. So that's another thing. So we got boundaries, goals and priorities, starting small, positive self-talk. Something else I want to do or talk about is, like, what is it that they want you to do, right? Like, are they asking you for help on a job or an assignment that is beneficial to them? What do you get out of it? I don't want to say what do you get out of it, but like, is it really helping them? If they're asking you for something to help push them forward, I think you always want to do it, or you should be more open to doing that. But if it's something that might hinder them, right? Like, dang, how is this really productive? Ask that question. How productive is this? What are we getting out of this? I guess I tried to avoid that, but but yeah, like, what are we really getting out of this? What is the return on our investment in going out? Yeah, we have fun, okay, but we spend money on drinks and food and whatever. So it's like, because it sounds like we're giving money away and not making some, not getting a real return. Yeah, we have fun for that, but you can also stay home and order food and listen to music. I don't know. That's how my head works. But yeah, that's just me. But I don't like doing too much. And I'll say one more thing, which is to help when you want to help. If you feel like it's something that's like, okay, that seems cool, I want to help with that, do it. But aside from that, don't feel obligated to do anything. Doesn't matter what it is. You're not obligated to do anything. You do what you want to do when you want to do it. It's your life. You're in control, not the other person. So just remember that, and also remember that relationships, they are give and take. So it's like, sometimes you might have to sacrifice, your peace for, to help someone else out. You don't always have to, and you might feel bad in the moment, but I think there is a good balance between, resting and saying no versus saying yes and helping out other people or doing what other people ask of you. Not doing. I don't like how I said that, but I think if someone is like, hey, let's hang out, let's go out and stuff. Yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, you don't want to, but it might be good for you to get out the house to just have an experience outside, and not always focusing on what you want to do, because when you only focus on what you want to do, then it's like, okay, like, it might seem that you don't really care about the person and all that stuff. So, yeah, I do my very best to not only do what I want to do, because I know myself. If I could choose to stay inside every weekend, I would. But I know I need to go out and be social and be around people and stuff, which is, it's draining at times. I get it. I'm an introvert, which one of my next episodes will be on introversion. Yeah, preview. But yeah, it's give and take. You can't always do exactly what you want. Sometimes you might just gotta hold that L at sometimes and just go out and be like, okay, well, I went out, I did that, now I gotta recharge. Now it's time to reset. So what's next? And I think that's a big thing right there. But yeah, I think those are some of the very important things around people pleasing that I did want to talk about. Like I said, this was gonna be a short episode, so I'm wrapping this up right now. But yeah, I do want to say, guys, just take care of yourself. Always prioritize yourself, but also remember, relationships, give and take. Sometimes you gotta step outside your comfort zone, so do that. But also take care of you, love yourself, and be genuine and give yourself grace. Okay, but again, thank you guys for tuning in to Don Talk Podcast, where we talk about mental health, personal development, and creativity. So, that being said, it's Don season, baby. Let's go.